Ever wondered what it takes to create an OSHA exposure control plan for your healthcare office? Let's delve into that. At its core, an OSHA exposure control plan is a comprehensive strategy designed to safeguard the health and safety of employees by reducing their exposure to hazards. But it's more than just a document. It's a practical, actionable plan that, when executed properly, can significantly decrease workplace injuries and illnesses. This plan is a must-have for any organization, big or small, that deals with potential occupational hazards. More specifically, if you're running a healthcare office, this plan is not just recommended, it's required. Why, you ask? Because it's your first line of defense against occupational exposures. It's about creating a safer, healthier workplace for everyone. So, whether you're a seasoned safety officer or just starting out, there's always something to learn. By the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge to create an effective, site-specific OSHA exposure control plan. Why is an OSHA exposure control plan necessary, you may ask? Well, let's dive into that. In any healthcare setting, there's a myriad of risks and hazards present. We're talking about bloodborne pathogens, airborne diseases, chemical exposure, and so forth. These hazards, if left unchecked, can pose significant health threats to your employees. Moreover, legal implications come into play when an effective exposure control plan is absent. OSHA mandates these plans to protect workers from harmful exposures, and non-compliance can lead to hefty fines and penalties. In severe cases, it can even result in closure of the healthcare facility. But it's not just about dodging legal bullets. An OSHA exposure control plan is crucial for employee safety and health. It's about creating a safe environment where your staff can deliver their best service without the fear of getting sick. So remember, an OSHA exposure control plan is not just about compliance, it's about ensuring the safety and health of your employees. Creating an OSHA exposure control plan may seem complex, but it doesn't have to be. So you're ready to create an OSHA exposure control plan, and you're wondering where to begin. Well, let's break it down into 4 manageable steps. These steps are identifying potential exposures, determining appropriate controls, training employees, and maintaining records. Bear in mind, these steps are not one-size-fits-all. Your plan should be unique and specific to your workplace. Step 1 is identifying potential exposures. This is about understanding your workplace and the risks it holds. You'll need to perform a thorough walkthrough of your facility, paying close attention to areas where employees might be exposed to harmful substances or conditions. You're looking for anything that could result in occupational illness or injury. A detailed examination of work processes and procedures will help you in this step. Moving on to step 2, determining appropriate controls. Once you've identified potential exposures, you'll need to decide how to control them. This could mean implementing engineering controls like ventilation systems or protective barriers. It could also involve administrative controls like rotating job assignments to limit exposure time. And of course, there's always personal protective equipment as a last line of defense. Make sure to choose the most effective controls for your specific workplace. Step 3 is all about training employees. Your employees need to understand the risks they face and how to protect themselves. Provide training that covers the nature of the hazards in your workplace, the necessary precautions, and the proper use and maintenance of protective equipment. Remember, knowledge is power. Finally, step 4, maintaining records. Keep a record of your exposure assessments, control measures, and training sessions. These records are crucial for evaluating the effectiveness of your plan and making necessary adjustments. They're also important for demonstrating compliance with OSHA regulations. Remember, the key to an effective plan is that it addresses the specific risks in your workplace. The first step in creating your plan is to identify potential exposures in your workplace. This begins with conducting a comprehensive hazard assessment. Think of it as a detective mission. You're looking for anything that could potentially expose your staff to harm. Now, it's essential not to limit this investigation to the routine tasks performed daily. You must cast a wider net. What about those non-routine tasks that are performed less frequently, or only under certain circumstances? These are often overlooked, yet they can present significant exposure risks. In addition, consider potential emergencies that could occur. Unforeseen incidents like a chemical spill or a power outage can lead to sudden, unexpected exposures. These scenarios should be included in your hazard assessment, and remember, this isn't a one-and-done deal. Regularly revisiting and updating your assessment is crucial to maintain a safe workplace environment. Once you've identified potential exposures, you're ready to determine the appropriate controls. Now that you've identified potential exposures, how do you determine the right controls? Well, let's delve into that. Determining appropriate controls for identified hazards is a critical step in creating an OSHA exposure control plan. First, consider engineering controls. These are physical changes to the workplace that reduce or eliminate the hazard. For instance, installing high-quality air ventilation systems can help control airborne contaminants. Next, think about work practice controls. These are modifications to the way tasks are performed to minimize hazards. An example could be regular hand washing or sterilizing equipment after every use. Lastly, don't forget about personal protective equipment or PPE. This includes items like gloves, masks, and gowns that protect individuals from specific hazards. Remember, the best controls are often a combination of these strategies. It's about finding the right balance to ensure the safety of your employees while maintaining productivity. Once you've determined the appropriate controls, you're ready to train your employees. Training is a crucial part of your OSHA exposure control plan. It's not enough to merely identify potential hazards and put control measures in place. Your team needs to be well-versed in understanding these hazards and how to navigate them safely. It's like knowing the rules of the road before you drive. It's essential for everyone's safety. Let's delve into the importance of training. Imagine a situation where your team is equipped with the best protective gear, but they're unsure of when or how to use it. The gear then becomes essentially ineffective. This is why training is paramount. It empowers your employees to recognize potential hazards, understand the controls in place, and know how to respond in potential exposure situations. This training should be ongoing, not a one-time event. Regularly updating your team on any changes in control measures or potential hazards keeps everyone in the loop and ensures the effectiveness of your exposure control plan. Now let's talk about records. Picture your plan as a living document, constantly evolving with your work environment. Maintaining records is like keeping a health check on your plan. It allows you to track the changes in hazards, the effectiveness of control measures, and the progress of training sessions. These records are also essential for OSHA compliance, as they provide a tangible record of your efforts to maintain a safe work environment. Remember, these records should include your hazard assessments, detailing the potential hazards in your workplace and the employees potentially exposed. It should also document the control measures you've put in place, showing your proactive steps to mitigate these hazards. Lastly, it should include records of training sessions, indicating who attended, what was covered, and when it took place. In conclusion, training and record maintenance are two sides of the same coin. They both work together to ensure the robustness of your exposure control plan. They empower your employees to work safely and provide a tangible record of your safety efforts. With well-trained employees and well-maintained records, you'll have a robust OSHA exposure control plan in place. Creating an OSHA exposure control plan is a vital part of ensuring a safe workplace. We've walked through the steps together, starting from identifying potential exposures, moving on to determining appropriate controls, and finally training your employees and maintaining meticulous records. It's crucial to remember that your plan should be site-specific and regularly reviewed and updated. This isn't a one-and-done exercise. Remember, an effective OSHA exposure control plan is not just about compliance, it's about keeping your employees safe.